The fight started, and Yun threw a bone knife toward Stonebone. At first, Stonebone laughed, but then he noticed that Chen was right behind him, and if he dodged the attack, Chen would get hurt. So Stonebone blocked the first knife with his axe, but suddenly a second knife broke through and nicked his helmet. Stonebone was still okay and became furious, charging at Yun aggressively. Yun was in danger when suddenly, a girl from the Coconut Grove clan jumped out of the group and threw another knife at Stonebone's helmet. At the same time, Yun made him fall to the ground. Stonebone shouted that someone ambushed him, and it wasn't a fair duel. As Stonebone fell to the ground, Yun grabbed a knife and jumped toward Chen to attack him. Surprisingly, Chen didn't move an inch to save himself because he had already assigned Huang Shi for that task. Huang Shi was hiding on the rooftop of the palace and threw a spear at Yun to protect Chen. The spear knocked Yun down. Seeing this, all the girls from the Coconut Grove clan ran towards Tina, furious and shouting at Chen. They accused him of playing dirty and conspiring to bring them into his territory. Stonebone and Yu became tense due to the intense situation. The girls asked Lisa to give them the order, claiming they would wipe everyone out. Chen also became tense, realizing he hadn't anticipated an assassination in the plan, wondering if the girls from the Coconut Grove clan were trying to provoke a fight. Chen also wondered whether it was Lisa's command or something happening without her knowledge. If Lisa the queen had ordered it, then he could consider holding her as a hostage. To Chen's surprise, Lisa furiously ordered her clan people to stop. She shouted, asking if they thought their little plot would deceive her, stating that she would never condone treating friends who had helped them in such a despicable way. Lisa shared that she didn't want to investigate who was involved in the assassination plan, but the duel was their loss. She then told Chen that Yun was the Coconut Grove clan's most loyal and brave warrior, and if it weren't for her, Yun wouldn't have abandoned her dignity and pride to do something like that. Lisa then said that she knew Chen had remarkable abilities, capable of summoning miracles. She asked if he could be magnanimous enough to spare Tina's life, then the Coconut Grove clan would forever be grateful. Chen appeared very serious outwardly, but deep down, he was relieved that it wasn't the worst outcome and that the initiative to control the situation was back in his hands. He then thought about the hemostatic ointment and assured Lisa not to worry, saying he wouldn't let Yun die because they were all allies now. A girl asked Chen to hurry up as Yun was fading fast. While going to help, Chen thought that he would overlook Tina's assassination attempts for the greater good, but there still had to be consequences for her actions. So Chen decided to apply only a small amount of medicine to keep Yun alive, but not to bring her back to full health immediately, reserving the rest of the ointment for treating his own injuries. After applying the ointment, he instructed others to carry Yun back to her house, assuring them that she would recover in a few days. Seeing this, the girls of the Coconut Grove clan started praising Chen, believing it to be a miracle. Chen hugged Lisa and asked if her people could now merge into his tribe. Blushing with happiness, Lisa responded with a joyful yes. Chen smiled and told Lisa that she could continue leading her people as long as they obeyed his command. Lisa then shared that she had one final request. Chen needed to become her partner, and they should have a ceremony to formalize their relationship. Hearing this, Chen became happy and blushed, thinking it was like a gift falling into his lap. He imagined they would have a wedding, exchange rings, enter their bridal chamber, have a daughter together, accompany their daughter as she grew up, witness her wedding, grow old together, and finally depart to the afterlife together. Seeing Chen making weird faces, Lisa tensely asked what was wrong, wondering if he didn't want to have the partner ceremony. Chen quickly responded that he definitely wanted it and hugged her tightly. Then Chen asked Lisa to rest and recover properly, as he also needed some time to prepare for the ceremony. He then ordered everyone to go and rest, instructing them to return for the ceremony in a few days. After that, his system showed that he had officially established his tribe and asked him to choose a name. When Chen looked closely, he noticed that the tribe population was only 46, so he wondered why it was 4 less. He named the tribe Newbie Tribe. Chen then pondered that he needed to find a way to deal with the Bei clan and considered taking some Bei clan members as prisoners. However, he wasn't sure if the captured prisoners would count toward the tribe's population. Suddenly, Chen overheard some girls from the Coconut Grove clan talking among themselves. They mentioned how they used to like Chen's smiling appearance, but now he had to be like the men who became partners before and were cut into pieces by the queen at the ceremony, and then devoured. Chen was tense thinking about the queen eating men and wondered if that was the reason why men were scarce in the Coconut Grove clan. Someone came up behind Chen, startling him, causing him to shout and ask them not to harm him. Mia revealed that it was her and asked why Chen was so scared. Chen, still startled, asked her what she wanted. Mia then asked if Chen was really going to become the partner of that rude woman, Lisa. Chen responded that he might need to reconsider his decision and that he had been too hasty in agreeing to the ceremony with Lisa. Mia asked if he was serious. Chen shared that he thought he was getting a bride, but it turned out Lisa was like a praying mantis. Hearing this, Mia started celebrating, but Ayu interrupted her, asking why she had sneaked out when she was supposed to be resting. Mia blushed and responded that she wanted to be with Chen. Chen sadly told Mia that he wanted to be alone and suggested that the girls from the Coconut Grove clan could participate in camp construction if they wished. Ayu agreed and started to take Mia back. Despite this, Mia continued to ask Chen to think carefully and consider her instead of Lisa. After that, Chen decided to go and chat with Lisa about the situation. The next day, Chen woke up and noticed that everyone was getting along very well, and even the Coconut Grove clan was helping to build the houses. He then went towards the farming area where the temporary residents of the Coconut Grove clan were staying. Upon reaching there, Ayun greeted him and asked if he had come to meet with the queen. If so, Ayun mentioned that the queen was nearby the river. Ayun then informed Lisa that the king had arrived to meet her, prompting Lisa to ask everyone to leave. Once alone, Lisa asked Chen if there was something urgent. Chen responded with a no, saying he had just come to see how her injury was healing. She shared that she would be back to normal in another 2 or 3 days. Lisa then asked if Chen wanted to get a head start on their romance. Chen tensely responded with a no, and then asked for her name. Lisa told Chen that he could call her Lisa, as that was the name given to her by the former queen. However, since her exile, no one had called her by that name. Hearing this, Chen became more tense, realizing it was either comply or face exile. He thought that Lisa might even rename her clan to the Praying Mantis clan. Chen asked Lisa if the former queen had also had a partner, and wondered where they were now. Lisa responded that all of them had been eaten, as it was a tradition in her clan for the queen to consume her partners, which was believed to grant her more power. Chen became more scared upon hearing that. But he was relieved when Lisa said that it was a tradition of previous queens, and she had no intention of continuing it. Chen felt a bit relieved and asked if she had never eaten anyone. Lisa responded that she had recently become queen and never had a partner, so she hadn't had any opportunity to consume anyone. Chen then bid her goodbye as he was leaving to prepare for the ceremony. While Chen was heading back, he thought about how if there was no risk of being eaten, he should consider talking with Mia. Suddenly, Lisa shared that although she didn't eat people, if someone wronged her in the future, she wouldn't hesitate to take severe action. After some time, Chen was moving around in their living areas, observing the people. Then he realized that he only had 7 days left to complete the mission, so he decided to first capture some prisoners and fulfill the mission. So Chen told Stonebone that he would be out for a while. During that time, Stonebone was in charge of organizing everyone's work, and if there was any emergency, he should send someone to find Chen at the beach to the south. The scene then shifted to the beach in the South Sea, where Chen was shocked to see something and wondered how it had happened. He questioned whether the Bay clan had been wiped out. Dodo birds were easily roaming near the corpses, so Chen understood that he was temporarily safe. He then checked the bodies of the Bay clan people and noted that they still had some elasticity, and there was no stench yet, and whatever battle they were involved in must not have ended too long ago. Chen also noticed that the claws on their fingers were exceptionally sharp, and the wounds seemed to match the claws. Chen then wondered whether the water lunatics had been engaged in infighting, making it crucial for him to locate any survivors. There, he found a corpse that had no internal injuries but appeared to have suffered a painful death. While Chen wondered what could have happened to them, suddenly Sam appeared out of nowhere, shouting that a group of Bay clan members were wreaking havoc at their place. Chen tensely ran back towards the base upon hearing this. The scene shifted to the base, where Stonebone instructed everyone to stay close, conserve their strength, and prepare for close combat. They were throwing wooden spears, but the Bay clan lunatics remained completely unharmed by them. The lunatics were closing in, so Stonebone urged everyone not to panic and to do whatever they could, but to prevent the lunatics from dragging anyone into the water. He emphasized that once in the water, they would have no chance against the lunatics. The lunatics charged towards them, but they managed to disrupt their charge by throwing stones at them. Just then, Queen Lisa's reinforcements arrived. Lisa asked Stonebone what was going on and if the enemies were from the Bay clan. She also asked why the Bay clan, who were supposed to be living on the southern edge, had suddenly appeared at their base. Stonebone responded that he didn't know, but the lunatics were behaving erratically, charging suddenly from the South River towards their base. The fight then started between them, with both sides engaging in a fierce battle. Even Lisa fought alongside the newbie clan members. Lisa tried to talk to the Bay clan members, but they didn't reply. She began to suspect that something was seriously wrong with the Bay clan. While Lisa was fighting with a Bay clan member, a larger lunatic attempted to sneak attack her. Chen then attacked with full force, swinging at the lunatic, but the lunatic easily withstood the attack, surprising Chen. 2 Bay clan members tried to sneak attack Chen, but Huang Shi and Lang Guchui intervened, attacking them and knocking them out. They declared that if the Bay clan wanted to attack their king, they would have to fight through them first. Chen praised Huang Shi and Lang Guchui for their actions, and said he would leave those small freaks to them. Chen also asked Lisa if he could entrust her to help his people deal with those small freaks. as he needed to focus entirely on the opponent in front of him. Lisa responded with a yes and joined the fight. Chen also told everyone that he was counting on them until the outcome of his fight was clear. Chen then told the big lunatic that he didn't know what happened to the Bei clan, but it had nothing to do with the newbie clan. He suggested that the lunatics might have mistaken them for their targets. However, without listening, the big lunatic attacked. Seeing this, Chen became tense and shouted, asking if the lunatic had lost the ability to communicate. He was also stunned by the lunatic's explosive power and wondered how, even with his strength and agility exceeding that of an ordinary person by several times, he could handle such an attack. So, he was just a squishy damage dealer in front of the lunatics. And since he was surrounded by his people, he couldn't casually use the hidden skill of his axe. While Chen was deep in thought, he got distracted from the lunatic's attacks, and the lunatic bit his hand. To Chen's relief, he pulled back and was safe, thanks to the protection of the Bull King's cloak. Without it, his left hand might have been torn off by the lunatic's sharp teeth. The lunatic became even more furious and charged at Chen with full force. But Chen dodged the attack, and the lunatic took off Chen's cloak instead. Chen tensely wondered how the lunatic had become so fast. If he hadn't slipped out of the cloak, he would have been dead. Suddenly, Chen noticed that the lunatics stopped attacking. He wondered what was happening and why they had stopped. Out of nowhere, the lunatic started backing off. Chen realized something was strange, as the big lunatic had only ripped off the part of the cloak stained with his blood. He also saw that only Agun was surrounded by many Bei clan members. Chen understood that the Bei clan was using the scent of blood to lock onto targets, and in this strange state, the lunatics were acting purely on primal instinct. Chen thought about how they could use this to their advantage. Just then, Sam returned and asked if there was anything he could do for Chen. Chen asked Sam to take 2 people and bring 3 cubs from the pigsty. Sam, confused, asked why, mentioning that the boars were supposed to be raised for future use. Chen shouted at Sam to do as he said, thinking to himself that the Bei clan was forcing him to sacrifice 3 precious boars, and he would seek revenge for it later. Chen then asked Lisa to get all the injured out of the fight. Just then, Sam returned with the boars. Chen instructed Sam to let the cubs run towards the river. The moment Sam released the boars, they started running towards the river in fear, seeking safety. But Huang Shi was ready with his spears and attacked the cubs. The moment they got hurt, all the lunatics of the Bei clan were attracted towards them and started tearing them apart. While the lunatics were tearing apart the cubs, Chen asked everyone to apply paralysis drug to the spearheads, ensuring they avoided vital parts. To Chen's surprise, Huang Shi shared that the lunatics of the Bei clan were acting strangely again. When Chen looked at them, he was stunned to see the lunatics acting strangely and slowly falling to the ground. Chen angrily asked Sam if he had poisoned those cubs, but Sam denied it. So now Chen became more tense and instructed everyone to stay away from those lunatics and remain on high alert. At that moment, Chen wondered what was going on and why this was happening with the Bei clan. The scene shifted to sometime later at the farmer's area, where every Bei clan member was captured in cages. Yun asked everyone to stay alert in case any movement was made by the Bei clan's people. When the Bei clan's people woke up, they started asking for help. Yun asked a girl to go and inform King Chen. After some time, when Chen arrived and asked about the situation, he saw that every member of the Bei clan was asking for water. Chen first asked Yun where the leader of the Bei clan named Hector was. Yun responded that they had kept Hector separated from the others. When Chen reached Hector's cage, Hector was asking for water, so Chen poured some water from a bottle on him. After that, Chen asked Hector if he could understand his words, to which Hector responded with a yes. Chen then assigned the communication task to Yu. Yu first gave water for Hector to drink, and asked him to drink as much as he wanted. Hector told Chen that his people also needed water and asked Chen to share it with them. Yu reassured Hector not to worry, as they would all be given water, and then asked if Hector was ready to provide some answers. Hector tensely asked why they had attacked their clan just to ask a few questions. He also shared that he had heard about the Giant Stone clan being a group of strange people, but he never expected them to be so bizarre. Yu asked Hector whether he was saying that he had been attacked by the Giant Stone clan. Upon hearing this, Hector was surprised and said that Tor hadn't told him that Chen's clan wasn't the Giant Stone clan. Yu responded that they were a new clan called the Newbie tribe, and their king is Chen. Hector responded that he had never heard of a Newbie tribe, which meant that the Giant Stone clan must have sent them away to a very distant place. Yu clarified to Hector that he was mistaken again. Hector was captured because he attacked their territory, and the Newbie clan had never had any dealings with the Giant Stone clan. It was only the Bei clan's people who attacked them like frenzied beasts. Hector couldn't believe it, saying it couldn't be possible because he didn't remember anything Yu was saying. Yu asked Hector to tell them whatever he remembered. Hector shared that his clan used to live around the South Fish, and they were happily engaged in their internal fights and fun. Suddenly, a child from his clan came to Hector crying, saying that his dodo bird had been taken away. Hector told him to be brave and fight back for his own things, suspecting that it might have been taken by Scaly and the others. But the child denied, saying it had been taken away by those weirdos. When Hector looked, he saw the men were from the Giant Stone clan. Hector furiously asked why they were in his territory, but the leader of the Giant Stone clan, without responding, ordered his clan to attack the Bay clan's people. Hector was shocked that the Giant Stone clan had ambushed them out of nowhere and wondered why. Hector explained that he was knocked out during the fight, and when he woke up, he found himself in a cage captured by the Newbie clan. Chen then told Hector that he had visited his village a while ago, and there was no one left alive. Chen added that if they hadn't chosen to spare the lives of the remaining Bay clan members, the Bay clan would have been extinct by now. Hearing this, Hector became deeply saddened and felt immense pain, realizing he was unable to save any of his people. Suddenly, something fell from Hector's body. Yu picked it up and asked Chen to take a look at it. When Chen looked at the leaf and identified it using the system, he discovered that it was industrial hemp, a herbaceous plant known for its pain-relieving properties and the ability to induce hallucinations when smoked. Upon realizing this, Chen became tense and wondered if it could be the work of the Giant Stone clan. The scene shifted to some time later, with everyone giving water to the Bay clan's people. During this time, Chen had collected leaves from each member of the Bay clan and discovered something unusual about them. Chen then remembered that Sam had once told him the leader of the Giant Stone clan had obtained some kind of divine power. Now, it seemed that this god was more of an evil entity. Chen then thought that it was likely the industrial hemp that caused the Bay clan to turn on each other. He wondered if the Giant Stone clan was behind this, as their frenzied attack on the Newbie tribe territory couldn't have been accidental. If the Giant Stone clan intentionally let the Bay clan's people come here to wreak havoc and leave them worse off or dead, it meant that the Newbie tribe had not only been noticed, but also seen as a threat that needed to be dealt with. Even Hector, with his boundless strength, had become a puppet at the mercy of others, indicating that the power of the Giant Stone clan was not to be underestimated. Chen checked his own stats and realized that 3 points of strength might not be enough, so he needed to level up before the real danger appeared. Yu came to Chen and told him that Hector was on the verge of a mental collapse, expressing her fear that Hector wouldn't be able to provide answers if it happened. Chen responded that they didn't have time to wait for Hector to calm down, as danger could be lurking around them, ready to strike at any moment. Yu asked if he meant that the Giant Stone clan was planning to attack their base. Chen shared that it was difficult to explain, but he believed the Giant Stone clan used the industrial hemp leaves to control the Bay clan's people. He emphasized that they didn't know what would happen next, so they needed to quickly trigger Hector's memories to learn more. So Chen said to Blackstone that he needed to stop blaming himself, as once someone inhales the poisonous smoke from the industrial hemp leaves, no matter how strong they are, it's useless. Chen asked Hector to take a look at the leaf. Upon looking at the leaf, Hector shared that he remembered the smell. He vaguely recalled smelling it when he was fighting those bastards, but at that time, it was mixed with all sorts of strange smells. He just felt it was pungent and unpleasant. Hearing this, Chen became tense and asked whether the Giant Stone clan was using different types of poisonous plants. He guessed that they would need to figure out the effects of those poisonous herbs before planning any counterattacks. Hector asked if King Chen was going to deal with the Giant Stone clan, suggesting that the Bay clan people should also join him. He expressed that if he didn't avenge his brethren, he would regret it for the rest of his life. Other members of the Bay clan shouted that they also wanted to take revenge for their fallen comrades, and they were willing to do anything as long as they could achieve that revenge. Chen thought that although he still needed more people to complete the main quest, they were only 4 people short. Chen's thoughts were interrupted by Hector, who mentioned that their noses were very sensitive. He offered their help to Chen, saying they could distinguish and track those poisonous herbs, which would definitely aid Chen. Chen responded that this was exactly why he was worried. Despite their ability to track herbs, their sensitivity to the smell of blood meant that if the Bay clan's people lost control again, the consequences would be unimaginable. Hector shouted that if it weren't for that poison smoke, they could easily control themselves. Chen responded by acknowledging that their enemies were the Giant Stone clan, and raised the concern about what would happen if the Giant Stone clan released the poison smoke again during their battle. Hector sadly responded that if that happened, they would refuse to fight. Chen told Hector that he understood his desire for revenge, but emphasized that acting out of anger and hatred would not resolve anything. He expressed concern that Tor might not agree with his plan, if he had one. Hector responded that they were the last remaining members of the Bay clan, and as long as Chen could help them get revenge, their lives belonged to Chen. Chen told Hector that as long as Hector assimilated into his tribe and pledged loyalty to the Newbie clan, he guaranteed that they would take revenge. However, Chen clarified that not all members of the Bay clan would have the opportunity to personally take revenge. Chen asked Hector again what he thought about the arrangement. Hector and every member of the Bay clan started shouting that they were ready for it. As Chen started to leave, Hector called out to him. Chen understood and instructed Yu and Yun to release the people of the Bei clan from their cages, as they were companions after all. After doing so, Chen's system indicated that he had completed the tribe mission and received the quest reward. As a reward, Chen received 3 attribute points, a large material chest, and a heritage plaque. Since Chen had completed the quest within 7 days, he also received an extra reward of a surprise gift package. Chen felt relieved that he had finally completed the quest and decided to allocate all the attribute points into strength. After allocating the attribute points to strength, Chen suddenly felt an enormous increase in power, sensing the energy surging within him. When the transformation completed, he noticed that his hair had grown longer, and he wondered if it was a side effect of the power boost. He then decided to check the rewards. In the large material chest, he obtained 1 ton of hematite. Upon seeing this, he felt happy because it would help him skip the Bronze Age and advance straight to the Iron Age. After that, Chen opened the surprise gift package, hoping for something exciting. When the package opened, he was delighted to find 3 jars of hemostatic ointment. Chen was amazed that the prize was much better than last time. Chen then instructed the system to retrieve the heritage plaque. On the heritage plaque, it showed that he had obtained a civilization product, but it required 10 technology points to unlock. Without hesitation, he allocated the required technology points to identify the product. Identification completed, and Chen received a plaque of Sense of Modesty. Chen realized that this could be a crucial step in the development of civilization. He felt happy knowing that now he wouldn't have to worry about mixed-gender baths anymore, as he didn't want anyone to see Lisa bathing. Now, Chen had to think about how to deal with the threat of the giant stone clan. Suddenly, Yu arrived but was shocked to see Chen's new avatar, as he had become taller and more muscular. Chen responded affirmatively and asked Yu what she needed from him. In response, Yu asked if Chen wanted her to go and negotiate with the giant stone clan to clear up any misunderstandings. Chen explained that there was no misunderstanding. The giant stone clan had decided to wipe them out. He described them as the most troublesome opponent the newbie clan had ever faced, capable of using tactics like pitting enemies against each other while they benefited from the chaos. Yu tensely asked what their clan should do now, expressing her fear. Chen responded that for now, their best course of action was to build their defenses, stockpile food, and avoid provoking the giant stone clan until their clan was fully prepared. In other words, their clan had to conceal their capabilities and bide their time. Yu then asked how they should arrange the 22 new people who had just joined. Chen instructed her to divide the Bei clan's people into 3 groups, each tasked with building houses, gathering food, and making traps. Hearing about traps, Yu got confused and asked what they were and why they needed to build them. Chen explained simply that traps could be used to protect their territory. He added that by setting traps, they could catch live enemies or wild beasts, enhancing their defensive capabilities. He then told Yu that he had an urgent task for her. With the sudden increase in their population, they needed to consider long-term food supply issues, and they couldn't afford to waste uneaten meats. He decided that they should start by teaching everyone how to make meat jerky. When Stonebone arrived and expressed surprise at Chen's increased height and muscularity, Chen asked him not to pay attention to it, and instead focused on the task he had for him. Chen then instructed Stonebone that he needed him to set up traps in the surrounding mountains, emphasizing that the denser the placement, the better. He mentioned he had already selected some people to assist Stonebone, and he would personally teach him how to make the initial trap. However, Chen stressed to Stonebone that the most crucial task was not just learning to make the traps, but remembering the locations of these traps. Hearing all that, Stonebone became tense and expressed that the task didn't seem exciting at all. Chen lightly tapped Stonebone's helmet and told him that entrusting him with remembering the location of every trap was a sign of his trust in him, so it needed to be kept an absolute secret. He also told Stonebone that only he and Stonebone would be involved in this task. No third person was allowed. Chen instructed Stonebone to ensure that each person rotated through different areas to set the traps, and not to let anyone know all the trap locations in a specific area. Otherwise, if there were to be a traitor among them, the consequences would be unthinkable. Chen then asked Stonebone to report all the trap locations once they were set. He even erased the drawings he used to explain to Stonebone and instructed him not to draw anything anywhere, but to remember the trap locations in his head. Stonebone responded that he thought it was a bit difficult, but he would definitely live up to the trust Chen had placed in him. Chen praised Stonebone for his commitment and asked him to go and rest, as they would begin their work under the cover of night. Chen put the Sense of Modesty plaque in front of his house so everyone could see it as they passed by and learn from it in their own way. He then told Lang Guchui that he was going to rest for a bit. Stonebone and the others would find him at night, but if anything urgent came up, Lang Guchui could wake him. Inside the house, Chen lay on the bed and wondered how much time they had. There was so much to do, like training soldiers in different units, building defense structures, arranging patrol teams, discovering new technology, and expanding their territory. It seemed like never-ending work to Chen, but he decided to cherish this rare moment of rest, and went to sleep. When Chen woke up, he found himself in a bar where some beautiful girls were having drinks. Chen asked them to introduce themselves. The girls said their names were Xiaoya, Lily, and T-Dan. Chen was very happy and shared that he had drunk too much but was glad to be back, no longer having to endure anxious days living in the wild. Chen enjoyed their company, and after some time, Xiaoya was lying beside him, telling him it was time to get up and work. He responded that he really can't do it anymore, Xiaoya. He then heard her say she wasn't Xiaoya. Chen tried guessing other names, but each one was denied. Finally, she said she was Stonebone. At that moment, Chen opened his eyes, stunned, and shouted in fear. It turned out that it was all just a dream. Chen furiously asked Stonebone why he was in his room. Stonebone responded that Chen had told him to come and find him at night. But when he arrived, Chen grabbed him and started flirting. Chen was stunned upon hearing this. But Lan Guchui interrupted, saying it was all a misunderstanding and they should leave for work. The scene then shifted to some time later, where Chen was showing everyone how to make a trap. He demonstrated by creating a spike trap as an example for everyone. He explained that since the enemies and monsters they were facing were quite large, the traps needed to be deep and wide enough to be effective. Chen then demonstrated how to hide the traps with leaves in a specific manner. Chen reiterated that the spike traps could be combined with the tripwire traps he had shown them earlier, emphasizing the importance of mixing and matching trap types. He also mentioned that Huang Shi could teach everyone how to make other types of traps. Hearing this, Huang Shi got confused and admitted he didn't know how to make any traps. Chen then asked Huang Shi if he remembered the moving target used for spear practice, suggesting it could be perfect for a trap if they replaced the log with a net and added a triggering mechanism. Chen left the work to Stonebone and the others and headed back, hoping he could continue the dream he had just woken from. As he returned to the territory, he was surprised to see that no one was walking around. Normally, by that time, someone would have woken up and started working. Chen went to check in their houses, but when he tried to enter, the girls inside started shouting for whoever it was to go away. When Chen asked what was wrong, they became serious, and some of their clothes were not fully on, making them hesitant to come out. Hearing this, Chen wondered if it was the effect of the heritage plaque's sense of modesty. He closed the door and told them they had half a day to make new clothes. If they weren't out by noon, he warned them not to blame him for being strict. Chen went near the plaque and was amazed by its effect. Suddenly, Stonebone came shouting his name. When Chen turned around, Stonebone shared that he had found something while digging traps. Chen was delighted and told Stonebone that what he had found was flint. A brilliant discovery. He explained that with flint, they had limitless possibilities, especially because it could produce sparks when rubbed together forcefully. Chen and Stonebone ran back to the place where Stonebone had found the flint. Upon reaching there, Stonebone showed Chen the spot and mentioned they had dug around that stone. When Chen saw it, he realized there wasn't enough flint. Since it wasn't a dry, arid, saline alkali land, if the flint was naturally formed, there was only one possibility. Chen asked Stonebone to take a closer look at what was inside the soil. Stonebone agreed, and mentioned that the soil in that area was easier to dig, and there appeared to be some things inside that didn't quite look like stones. When Stonebone tasted it, he got freaked out because it was dung, and he felt very bad after eating it. On the other hand, Chen already suspected that there was probably a fairly large dung pit underneath. He felt puzzled, wondering if it could be possible that another primitive people had lived there and reached a cultural level where they had something akin to toilets. Or could it have been the old lair of the giant stone clan? Chen ordered Stonebone to collect the flint, bury the places again without leaving any traces behind. He also instructed to set up a few more traps nearby and to build beacon towers in high places. Additionally, Chen wanted some people to be on lookout in shifts. Hearing this, Stonebone shouted in confusion, asking about towers and beacons, wondering what Chen had said. The scene then shifted to 4 days later, where Chen wandered through the territory, observing the many houses that had been built. He reflected that this was the first step towards happiness. Suddenly, Mia ran towards Chen, startling him. He quickly asked Lan Guchui to help him stop her. Despite their efforts, Mia reached Chen with full force and hugged him tightly, accidentally breaking a house in the process. Lan Guchui asked Chen tensely if he was okay and urged Mia to get off him. Seeing Chen injured, Mia squeezed him again, pleading for him to stay alive since they had just built houses and couldn't afford to die now. Chen responded that playtime was over and asked Mia if she said the houses were ready. Mia responded affirmatively, saying there were 2 rows of houses, totaling 10, which could comfortably accommodate 50 people. Hearing this, Chen was pleased and patted Mia on the head, praising her efforts. Chen also asked Mia not to be reckless anymore and assigned her the task of repairing the broken house as a punishment. Then, he went to check on the progress of the food supplies and reserves. Upon reaching the riverside, Chen saw that the Bei clan people were happily catching fish, and Yu, along with some girls, were helping them dry the fish. Chen shared that compared to building houses and digging traps, the Bei clan were indeed more suitable for going into the river to fish. With the Bei clan's help, their new tribe had noticeably increased the variety and quantity of food available. Lang Guchui praised Chen for all the progress they had made, which allowed them to live such a prosperous life. Chen responded that it might be possible, but he still wondered if the methods he used to subdue the Coconut Grove clan were proper, and what kind of deceit he might resort to in the future. Lang Guchui reassured Chen not to doubt his decisions, emphasizing that Chen's orders were their will. He expressed that he saw no problem with what they had done, pointing out that in the world, only the strong survive, and large and small groups were constantly devouring and destroying each other every day. So obtaining maximum results with minimal losses is actually kindness to both them and the Coconut Grove clan, Chen said with a smile. He then told Lang Guchui that he already possessed the most important qualities needed for their journey. Chen then asked Lang Guchui to accompany him to inspect the results of the border defenses, expressing his belief that the Bei tribe could still bring more surprises, like the mysterious Frogman force. The scene shifted to Stonebone and the others working on the traps and towers. When Chen arrived, he asked Stonebone how the traps and beacon towers were arranged. Stonebone responded that according to Chen's orders, the beacon towers in the west, south, and north had all been completed. After arranging for 6 people to be stationed at the beacon towers in shifts, there weren't many people left. Stonebone explained that in order to finish on time, they had to leave early and start working on the mountain before dark. Chen understood they were short on manpower and decided that from that day onward, he and Lang Guchui would go up the mountain to help Stonebone. Stonebone asked Chen not to worry, saying they could handle it, but Chen responded that it was a critical time for them, so they needed to make every second count. Chen was wondering if the Giant Stone clan had indeed lived nearby before. They might be more familiar with the terrain than his clan was. He worried that if the Giant Stone clan took advantage of their unpreparedness, they could launch another, even larger surprise attack. In the night, while everyone was working and Chen was there as well, he suddenly looked towards the West Beacon Tower and felt an ominous sensation. He wondered why he was feeling this way, perhaps just overthinking it. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Chen heard screams coming from the South Beacon Tower. He was surprised and quickly looked in that direction, where he saw signals for help. Chen furiously shouted to everyone that the South Beacon Tower was under attack and urged them to move quickly. Chen ran towards the south, his mind racing as he thought about how, despite knowing the trap locations and having the agility bonus from 2 points, it still took at least 5 minutes to reach the South Mountain. He hoped that nothing would happen during those crucial 5 minutes. At the South Tower, Huang Shi was patrolling when he noticed triggered traps very close to the tribe. He wondered how the enemies had managed to infiltrate so far. Huang Shi also considered the possibility of other enemies nearby who might have seen the firelight and were ambushing towards it. He decided it was best to find these enemies first and launch an attack. Huang Shi ran towards the source of the noises and attacked with his spear, but the enemy proved formidable, deflecting the spear and forcing Huang Shi to dodge. To his surprise, the enemy quickly closed in to attack him, leaving Huang Shi with little time to react, causing him to shield himself in fear. To Huang Shi's relief, the enemy stopped the attack and revealed himself to be Chen. Surprised, Huang Shi asked why Chen was at the southern side. Chen responded urgently, saying there was no time to explain, and asked if Huang Shi knew where the traps had been triggered. Huang responded affirmatively and described the location where the traps had been triggered, mentioning he was the one who lit the beacon tower. Chen quickly instructed Huang Shi to wait for those taking the safe route and bring them to that location after him. When Chen reached the location of the triggered traps, he didn't sense any other people nearby. The silence was eerie, suggesting they hadn't caught a wild beast. The fact that the trapped person wasn't calling for help made Chen wonder if they were truly alone or had lost consciousness. When Chen went to look at the trapped person, he was surprised to see that it was none other than Lisa. He asked her what she was doing there, as she was supposed to be recovering from her injuries. Lisa became furious and asked Chen why he was just standing there asking questions. Chen smiled and teased her playfully by tickling her feet. Lisa, feeling frustrated, asked Chen to help her down from where she was trapped. Suddenly, they both heard Huang Shi and the others approaching. Lisa furiously shouted at Chen, telling him that if anyone saw her like that, she swore she would make sure they kept quiet about it. Chen became tense and asked Lisa to wait while he dealt with the approaching group. He shouted for everyone to stay back and not come any closer, warning them that the situation was very dangerous and they could die if they approached. Hearing this, Stonebone looked confused and wondered if Chen had fallen into an ambush. He questioned whether they should rush in to rescue Chen. Huang responded that he didn't think so because from Chen's demeanor, it seemed like he hadn't been affected negatively. Huang also speculated that Chen might not want them to see something specific. Stonebone pointed out that he thought Chen was taking a break after the battle, noting that even the women avoided them when bathing and everything seemed a bit different. though he couldn't quite pinpoint why. Here, Chen freed Lisa from the trap and laughed, teasing her that he didn't expect her of all people to fall into the trap, but at least now they knew how the traps worked. Lisa chuckled and commented that she didn't expect him to know so many strange tricks. Chen then asked Lisa what had brought her there in the middle of the night. Lisa shared that she had overheard some conversations among the Bay tribe in the evening. Lisa explained that she overheard two people from the Bay clan talking about how they wished they could catch fish, shrimp, or clams by the seaside to boost their energy for work. However, they mentioned that the way to the beach was blocked by a ferocious pack of hyenas, making it too risky to go fishing when there was a chance of being attacked. The scene shifts to the present, where Lisa explains that she decided to come and find a safer way during the night. Chen shares that he had walked that path many times, and there were no hyenas there 5 days ago. He suspects that someone from the Bay clan might have sneaked out in the past few days, causing the hyenas to move into the area. Lisa asked if something was wrong with the Bay clan and suggested executing them. Chen responded with a no, clarifying that he wasn't suggesting that. He explained that he was thinking about the security loopholes they hadn't noticed before. Chen proposed setting up patrols and emphasized the importance of clearing the way to the beach for safety. Chen added that while fish and shrimp were secondary, they definitely needed dodo birds and their eggs. He suggested they could also open a salt field for salt drying. Chen then declared that it was decided. After daybreak, they would deal with the troublesome hyenas. Lisa shared that she could handle setting up patrols and secret sentries, but she suggested Chen reconsider dealing with the hyenas and expanding the territory. Chen smiled and asked if she was worried about him. Lisa got embarrassed and asked Chen not to flatter himself. She expressed her concern that with their small numbers, spreading out to guard two territories might be reckless. She also pointed out that the beach had already been attacked by the Giant Stone clan once. What if they were to attack again? Chen responded that precisely because the Giant Stone clan had already been to the beach, it made it relatively safe. He explained that their tribe's camp, the beach outpost, and the Giant Stone clan on the southwest mountain formed a triangle. Chen proposed that as long as they ensured a smooth exchange of goods and information between the beach outpost and the tribal camp, they could support each other effectively. Lisa admitted she didn't fully understand what Chen was talking about, but since he had made a decision, she agreed to go along with it. The scene then shifted to some time later, where Hector, Chen, Lang Guchui, and members of the Bay clan were heading towards the location where the kid had seen the hyenas. Hector asked the kid if he was sure he encountered the hyena on that path, noting there was no smell of blood. The kid affirmed that he had seen the hyenas around 2 days ago. As the kid moved ahead, he was suddenly attacked by a hyena. But Hector swiftly counterattacked and saved the kid from the hyena's attack. However, they soon found themselves surrounded by a group of hyenas from all sides. Lang Guchui cautioned Chen to be careful, but Chen smiled and reassured them that with the Bay clan as their allies, these wild dogs wouldn't pose a threat. At that moment, Hector suggested to Chen that he could take the group on the left, while leaving the right side to him. The fighting commenced, and the Bay clan easily engaged with the hyenas. Chen thought it was a good opportunity for him to observe what the new recruits could do. Suddenly, a hyena tried to attack Chen, but he easily blocked it by grabbing the hyena's neck. After a few minutes, everyone managed to defeat the hyenas. Hector expressed that it wasn't satisfying enough for him. Chen asked Hector to let it go and urged everyone to move forward. Moving further, Hector shared that it was their former territory. Upon reaching the location, Chen asked everyone to observe the cliff, explaining that it would be where they would build the outpost. He specified that it needed to be close to the cliff and spacious enough to house 20 people, with the beacon tower constructed above it. Chen also mentioned that after building the beacon tower, they needed to construct a small salt evaporation field next to the outpost. He told Hector that he would send some people to help him, but emphasized that Hector had only 4 days to complete everything. At that moment, Chen felt like a foreman inspecting a construction site, despite being the one doing the laborious tasks. Before leaving the area, Chen instructed them to immediately light a fire for help in case of an emergency. The scene then shifted to 3 days later, where Chen had crafted a wooden bow, earning him 5 technology points. At that moment, Ayu informed everyone that Sam had returned and had something to report. Chen went to Sam and asked if he had found any human tribes to ally with or conquer to the north. Sam responded that he had traveled north for more than a day, but saw no sign of anyone. He only found a lake and a snow-capped mountain not far away, and there seemed to be a strange creature living in the water. Sam added that before he could see the creature clearly, it sank to the bottom of the lake and disappeared. Since the snow-capped mountain lay further ahead, he didn't dare to proceed and decided to return. Chen laughed and responded to Sam, saying it was okay and that he had done a great job. He joked that he never expected Sam to fear the snow mountains more than the monster in the water. Trembling, Sam said that the snow mountains were too terrifying and asked Chen if he hadn't heard the stories about them. Chen asked what was so terrifying, but suddenly Ayu hugged him, saying she was scared. Chen asked Yu why she was so frightened of the snow mountains. Yu responded that the terrifying part wasn't the snow mountains themselves, but what lurked behind them. A giant. Chen told Yu not to worry because he was there, so there was no need to be afraid of anything. Suddenly, Chen's system showed that he had a new quest where he had to find the giant, and he would get 1 attribute point for it. Chen was stunned when he saw this and wondered why he would get 1 attribute point just for seeing a giant. After all, he had to risk his life and drive away a saber-tooth to earn 2 points before. He then thought that the giant might just be a big fellow, and looking from afar shouldn't be very dangerous, right? But on the other hand, if the giants had a civilization, maybe they could even turn the giants into their allies. Still, he needed to be cautious because if things went wrong, it could lead to the tribe's destruction. However, the exploration and diplomatic tasks couldn't be left to Sam and Yu. Chen asked Sam to go and rest since the banquet would be in 2 days, so he could relax and enjoy. Sam thanked Chen and was relieved that he got a break and didn't have to face the giant. Yu also asked Chen to remember that Sam gets nervous in certain situations. Chen responded that it might not just be nervousness. Sam's perception of danger far exceeds that of everyone else, making him sensitive to certain things. That's why Sam can explore the outside world freely while keeping himself safe. Chen then asked Yu about the preparations for the partner ceremony. Yu responded that everything was ready. Chen then asked Yu to prepare travel necessities for 4 people, as he was planning to take a few people with him on a little expedition. Hearing this, Yu tensely asked if Chen going personally meant the task was very dangerous. Chen responded that he was just going to explore the nearby areas and that there was no need to worry. He asked Yu to prepare some food, water bottles, and warm clothes. He also asked Yu to thank Skinny for doing a good job on making the clothes. Yu then asked when he was going to leave for the trip. Chen shared that since the partner ceremony was in 2 days, he would depart after the banquet ended. The scene then shifted to 2 days later, where Chen had prepared a shield for himself. He explained that because it was made of hardwood and cowhide, the shield was very light. He added that everyone could now replace their equipment as soon as possible. At that moment, Yu came in and told Chen that it was time for him to wear the royal dress. When Chen stepped outside wearing it, everyone congratulated him and started celebrating. At that moment, Chen wondered if the partner ceremony was just a wedding. In his old life, he had struggled just to make a living, but now he had his own tribe, his own people, and a wife. Although it felt like a dream come true, in the present world, he felt a strong sense of belonging. Chen approached Lisa and shared that in the future, when he wasn't around, the fate of the newbie tribe would rest in her hands. He announced to everyone in the tribe that from that moment on, Lisa was the queen of the newbie tribe clan. Everyone praised their queen and king, and the atmosphere became very emotional. Mia even cried, expressing that while she didn't want anyone else to take the king's place, the scene was truly touching for her. After the festivities ended and night fell, everyone bid Chen good night as they went to sleep. Chen felt relieved that nothing bad had happened on the ceremony day. Yu approached Chen with a smile and informed him that Queen Lisa was waiting for him in the palace, suggesting that he should go to her. At first, Chen blushed upon hearing that Lisa was waiting for him, but then he became tense, recalling that her love language involved using a whip. Nevertheless, he headed towards the palace, intrigued by the possibility of something exciting awaiting him. With courage, Chen opened the door and told Lisa that he had returned home. However, upon seeing her angry expression and feeling the tense atmosphere, Chen became nervous and wondered if it felt like someone was about to die. Lisa then told Chen that she would give him a chance to explain himself. Tensely, Chen asked what she wanted him to say. Lisa stood up, took out the whip, and asked if he was still going to pretend. Chen, now scared, tensely asked if Lisa could please be more gentle as it was their wedding night. Deep down, he regretted upgrading Lisa's whip. Lisa then asked if he was in such a hurry to leave her by going on a journey just after the ceremony. Hearing this, Chen felt a little relieved and asked Lisa to relax and let him explain everything. He then shared his entire plan, and Lisa asked to confirm whether his plan was to convince the giants to join them against the Giant Stone clan. Chen responded that he wasn't entirely sure about convincing the giants and wanted to bring 3 more people with him for safety. He emphasized that the true purpose of the trip must be kept secret. Chen also expressed confusion about why Sam and Yu seemed fearful of the giants. Upon hearing this, Lisa asked if it wouldn't be better for her to go with him. Chen responded with a no, explaining that one of them needed to stay with the tribe, and besides, she had more important things to attend to. Lisa asked what those things were. Chen took out a stone sling and told Lisa that he would demonstrate how to use it later. He explained that he needed her to train a stone sling team by the time he came back. The scene then shifted to the next morning, where Chen was heading towards the giant place with Huang Shi, Hector, and Tina. He was singing peacefully, but Yun was furiously looking at him. Seeing this, Chen became scared and wondered if Yun was purposely walking behind him, possibly trying to find another opportunity to ambush him. But Chen couldn't do anything because it was Lisa's wish. What actually happened last night was that Chen tried to flirt with Lisa, but she shouted at him, asking him not to tease her. She then asked why he didn't choose people from the Coconut Grove clan or Bay clan since he wanted to take 3 people with him. Chen responded that he planned to bring Hector because he had personally witnessed Hector's combat prowess. The beach outpost would be temporarily under the responsibility of Stonebone. Lisa insisted that she didn't care whom he chose, but insisted that she must go with him. She explained that only when Ayun was with him could she feel at ease. Lisa then approached Chen and reassured him that she had already taught Ayun a severe lesson for the last incident, so he could rest assured. The scene shifted to the present time, where Chen was still furious, unable to be at ease with Ayun walking behind him. Chen now relied heavily on Huang Shi, believing that if something went wrong, only Huang Shi could save him. Huang Shi mentioned that he felt like someone was staring at them, but then dismissed it, saying it might just be his imagination. Hector then asked Chen if he knew there was a lake ahead. Chen responded affirmatively, mentioning that Sam had mentioned it before. Hector started laughing, suggesting that Sam must have also seen the giant because when Hector was a child, he saw it swallow a leopard whole in the blink of an eye. Hector then shared that he had been lucky in childhood, but this time he hoped for a better fight with the lake monster. Chen was stunned, thinking that encountering such a monster wasn't lucky at all. He responded to Hector that monsters like the lake creature didn't concern him much. He would be more interested if they encountered something more formidable, like giants. Hearing this, Huang Shi got scared and tensely asked Chen not to expect such things. Chen responded that he was speaking casually and asked if there really were giants. Huang Shi then shared that before meeting the king, their tribe had originally consisted of over 30 people. One day, they encountered a giant, and the clan was powerless to resist, scattering in all directions. Huang Shi also mentioned that even though it happened when he was very young, no one who survived could forget that terrifying scene. Chen now understood why Sam and Ayu were so scared and trembled at the mention of giants. Hector interrupted their conversation and warned them not to eat any of those fruits, recalling that he had eaten them when he was young and suffered severe consequences. Chen inspected the fruits with his system and found that they were poisonous plants. Chen thought that all the unfamiliar plants around him might hold some value. He asked his system to scan and identify them, and discovered that every plant had significant medicinal properties. Chen was amazed to find that the whole forest was filled with medicinal plants. Suddenly, he spotted something familiar and upon inspection, identified it as a cereal grass. He was happy to have found grain seeds and received a side quest to plant multiple types of grains in large quantities and successfully cultivate them within a 180-day time limit. Chen then thought that it looked like they could finally enter the era of farming, and once they found clay, they could cook, make herbal medicine, and more. Since the cereal wasn't mature yet, he decided to come back later to harvest it. At that moment, Chen began to feel a strange sensation. But it wasn't Tina's hostility. Huang Shi pointed out something, and Chen looked at it seriously, expecting danger. However, he discovered a leaf with strong fibers that could be used to make ropes, fabrics, or paper. He praised Huang Shi for finding something valuable, thinking it would lead to better clothes. However, Huang Shi clarified that he wasn't referring to the strange grass, but to the sound coming from behind the bushes. When Chen looked over, he was surprised to see a hyena emerging from behind the bush. Chen then speculated that the hyenas must have been following them since the beginning, and the eyes they had felt before were likely from these hyenas. Realizing that the hyenas might be seeking revenge for their previous encounter, Chen asked everyone not to leave them be and suggested they take action to eliminate the threat. The fight started, and Hector was furious, determined to take down the hyenas this time. However, Ayun found herself in danger as 2 or 3 hyenas attacked her. Hector quickly and effortlessly came to her rescue, telling her not to thank him as it was his duty. Suddenly, the hyenas began to retreat. Hector laughed, remarking that it was a shame the hyenas were running. However, Chen shouted, urging them not to let the hyenas escape, as he didn't want to continue being ambushed repeatedly. They started chasing the hyenas, but Chen quickly realized that even with his agility boosted by 2 points, he could barely keep up with their pace, making it impractical to continue the pursuit. Suddenly, Chen felt an eerie quietness behind him. When he turned around, he was shocked to see Ayun captured by an unknown type of plant monster. Chen wondered what it was, and upon investigating, he discovered it was a Crimson King flower, a large herbaceous plant that secreted corrosive mucus from its center and actively preyed on nearby animals for consumption. Chen was shocked to realize it was a man-eating flower. He felt tense, realizing that first there were saber-toothed tigers, then giants, and now a man-eating plant. They were straying further and further from his understanding of the primitive age. Ayun tried to use her bone knife, but it slipped from her grasp, falling into the flower's mouth where it dissolved instantly. Everyone was shocked at this sight. Chen shouted and urgently asked Huang Shi and Hector why they were standing around and told them to go and save Tina. Huang Shi responded that they were not refusing to help. They too had been ensnared by the strange creature. Chen quickly began cutting through the vines of the flower, urging Ayun to hold on until he could reach her. Ayun shouted and asked Chen to forget about her, urging him to go and save Hector and Huang Shi and escape. Before Chen could reach her, she was engulfed by the man-eating flower. Chen was now filled with fury but resolved to at least save Hector and Huang Shi. To his surprise, hyenas also attacked from the rear. Hector played a crucial role by throwing something at the hyenas to knock them back. He shouted to Chen not to come closer, warning that it was a trap set by the hyenas. Huang also told Chen to run, reassuring him that he could make it alone, and they would try to stall the hyenas for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Chen continued to struggle against the vines, noticing that they weren't fast, but that the hyenas were taking advantage of his distraction. Suddenly, he realized they were near dead trees. Taking a gamble, Chen took out some flint and struck it against the trees, igniting them. He knew that there was no creature that couldn't be dealt with a good oil barbecue. The vines began to burn, and Chen managed to rescue Ayun from the mouth of the man-eating flower. When Ayun emerged, Chen asked her tensely if she was okay, and if she could still move, emphasizing that time was running out and they still needed to rescue Huang Shi. Tina's dress had been torn from the ordeal, so Chen gave her his royal dress to cover herself. After successfully rescuing everyone, they started running away. Chen continued to throw flintstones at trees, causing them to burn, ensuring they didn't have to worry about hyenas lurking behind. Suddenly, Chen spotted water ahead. He urged everyone to keep moving forward and jump into the water as it would keep them safe. However, a hyena was still following Ayun and was about to attack her. Chen saw that Ayun was in danger, so he asked her to watch behind and ran towards her to save her. He came under attack by the hyena, but managed to hold off its attack. Hector and Huang Shi were also tense and unsure what to do. Chen urgently told everyone to run away as the fire was spreading quickly. He assured them he would follow right behind, though he was worried about wearing down the hyena before the fire reached them. Suddenly, an arrow appeared out of nowhere and struck the hyena, killing it instantly. When Chen turned back to see who had shot the arrow, to his surprise, it was Tina. He noticed that her talent for archery had been activated. Chen asked Ayun if she knew how to use a bow, and she responded that she had learned by watching him earlier. Ayun explained that she had twisted her ankle and was low on strength, unable to make it out on her own, urging the others to save themselves. Chen shouted at her, dismissing her suggestion as nonsense, and then lifted her onto his back, starting to run. Hector urged Chen to hurry up as time was running out. He also asked Huang Shi if he wanted to reach faster, suggesting that Huang Shi could carry him with his strength, but Huang Shi declined. As Chen continued running, Ayun suddenly told him that she had planned to use this opportunity to accuse him, asking if he had planned the bull attack on their Coconut Grove clan. Chen asked her why she would think that. Ayun responded that she already knew he wouldn't admit it. She also mentioned that on the day the bulls entered their territory, they were already injured. However, their weapons couldn't cut through the tough bull hide, so who had injured them? Chen's people seemed particularly skilled at handling these bulls, which heightened her suspicions. But she knew these suspicions wouldn't convince the queen, so she proceeded with the assassination attempt. Ayun then pressed her bone knife against Chen's neck, asking if she attacked now, he wouldn't be able to resist, right? Or he could simply leave her in the fire and be done with the trouble once and for all. Chen asked her to hold him tight as they were nearing the edge, promising that afterward she could deal with him however she wanted. Ayun agreed, saying she would let it go for now but would keep an eye on him. She warned that if he ever betrayed Lisa or the Coconut Grove clan, she would kill him. Chen asked if that was settled, then accepted it. Ayun grew frustrated that Chen was so stubborn and still wouldn't admit it. Finally, they jumped into the water and escaped from the fire. At that moment, Chen realized that with 2 members of their group unable to move, they would have to postpone their search for the giant for now. Chen instructed everyone to return to the place where they had found a bunch of plants, as they would need more of those herbs. The scene then shifted to some time later, where Huang Shi was very relieved after applying the medicinal herb and feeling no pain. Chen asked Huang Shi and Ayun to rest for a while he and Hector went to gather more herbs. While they were collecting more herbs, Hector suddenly caught the scent of hyenas and wondered if he had picked it up during the fight. Out of nowhere, Chen spotted some baby hyenas in front of them and realized the hyenas weren't seeking revenge. They were protecting their young, feeling threatened. Chen saw an opportunity to tame the hyenas as hunting dogs and happily accepted the quest. As they were leaving the area, they were startled by the sound of roaring nearby. Ayun asked, "What's that sound?" But Chen recognized it and tensed, thinking they couldn't be this unlucky. A bear emerged from behind the trees, prompting Huang Shi to shout in fear that it was a man-eating bear. Chen pondered their options. With 2 injured people, outrunning it was impossible. He instructed everyone to circle around and retreat while he kept the bear occupied. Hector and Ayun tried to protest, but Chen shouted at them to follow his orders without argument. He insisted they would only slow him down and stressed that they had only one chance to survive, so they must obey him. Chen asks Hector to get Ayun and Huang Shi to safety. Chen starts fighting the bear while everyone else runs away. Chen finds himself face to face with the bear. He attacks, but the bear strikes back, sending Chen flying through the air and injuring him slightly. Tor sees this and becomes worried. He tells Huang Shi and Ayun to take the little hyenas back, while he goes to help the king. Huang Shi shouts at Hector not to intervene, having witnessed Chen's formidable strength firsthand. He believes even the strongest opponent couldn't defeat Chen, and staying with him would only hinder Chen's movements. Huang Shi suggests they follow Chen's orders instead. Chen thinks that with his last attack he has gained the bear's attention. He decides to lure the powerful bear away and escape. Chen provokes the bear to chase him, and when the bear starts pursuing him, he runs in the opposite direction of the others to ensure their safety. After getting some distance, Chen realizes that Hector and the others have been left far behind, so he decides to evade the bear and make his escape. To his surprise, he suddenly gets attacked from behind. Chen manages to dodge the attacks and wonders who could be attacking him now. Perhaps a giant rat monster? But to his astonishment, he sees that it's the saber-toothed tiger he fought when he first arrived in this world. Even the saber-toothed tiger seemed surprised to see Chen again, but their reunion was interrupted when the bear caught up to them. Chen now found himself in a perilous situation, knowing he couldn't match the strength and speed of both enemies together. He contemplated whether to use the power of Pangu, but he knew that doing so would leave him weakened for a long time, possibly causing him to pass out for days. Moreover, even if he survived fighting the tiger and the bear in his weakened state, he feared that the giant stone clan might attack while he was vulnerable, leading to his demise. As both the bear and the saber-toothed tiger attacked Chen, he tried to maneuver away, hoping to let them engage each other in combat. Suddenly, his system detected extreme danger and activated emergency escape mode. In this mode, Chen would temporarily gain 20 agility points and convert strength to stamina for 600 seconds. However, once the mode ended, 33% of his 3 main attributes would be permanently reduced. As soon as the mode started, Chen felt a surge of a different kind of power, allowing him to leap into the air and dodge both attacks, causing the bear and tiger to collide with each other. Chen was impressed by his newfound lightness and explosive speed. However, the bear and tiger continued to pursue him, prompting Chen to become anxious and start running away. He wondered why they weren't fighting each other. After some time, he finally managed to lose them. Chen felt a bit disappointed, realizing that while the emergency escape mode was amazing, its cost was too high. Chen realized he had run all the way to the snowy mountain, so he decided to make use of the remaining time and search for the giant. Within moments, he covered a significant distance in one stride, grateful for the emergency escape mode that spared him from exhausting himself in the deep snow. Upon reaching the mountaintop, he finally saw someone and wondered if it was the legendary giant. After seeing the figure, Chen's system indicated that he had completed the task and received the reward. However, he now faced the second part of the giant quest, launching an attack on the giant to gain 10 attribute points. Upon reading this, Chen became furious and questioned whether the system had malfunctioned. Suddenly, one of the giant's pets sensed something, prompting Chen to quickly hide in place. Chen thought about the tempting reward of 10 attribute points and decided to give it a try by running as fast as he could. He picked up a stone and threw it towards the giant. The stone traveled slowly and hit the giant, but it was so small that the giant didn't even notice. However, the giant's pet saw the stone and started growling, sensing something amiss. Chen became very excited after completing the task and receiving the reward of 10 attribute points. However, the system then showed a third part of the quest. Chen had to take down the giant alone to earn a reward of 100 attribute points. Seeing this, Chen was torn. The prospect of gaining 100 attribute points was incredibly tempting and could significantly change his circumstances. He debated whether to attempt it. While he was still considering his options, the giant was disturbed by the growling of its pets. In anger, the giant slammed the ground and commanded them to keep quiet. The slam sent snow flying through the air, covering Chen completely. His senses were momentarily knocked out, giving him a stark realization of the giant's power. He muttered to himself that even 10,000 attribute points wouldn't be worth risking his life for. The scene shifted to the evening, a few days later, at the newbie clan territory where Lisa asked the girls from her Coconut Grove clan if they had found anything during their night patrol. The girls apologized, saying they hadn't found anyone. Lisa instructed the Coconut Grove clan girls to expand their patrol area and continue searching. Ah-Yun suggested preparing for the worst, fearing Chen might be dead. This angered Lisa, who sharply told Ah-Yun to stay silent, reminding her that Chen had risked his life to save them all. Suddenly, a boy from the Bei clan arrived, shouting that their king had returned. As Chen reached the territory, everyone rushed towards him, concerned about his well-being. Mia approached Chen and noticed he was with Ah-Gun. She asked Ah Gun why he hadn't lit the beacon to alert them earlier, so they could have come to rescue Chen sooner. Ah Gun responded that it was King Chen's order not to make a fuss about his return. Just then, Lisa arrived and shouted at everyone to stop crowding around Chen and allow him to go back to rest. Lisa then took hold of Chen and instructed everyone to return to their respective posts. She declared that she would take care of Chen for the time being, but warned that if she found out anyone had leaked this information, there would be severe consequences. Everyone got scared and agreed to it. In the house, Chen said he was glad that Sam and the others came back safely, and that he didn't expect them to bring back hyena cubs too. Chen also asked Lisa to let Sam raise the cubs since Sam would need extra help when he goes out alone in the future. Lisa angrily told Chen to worry about himself first, and that no matter how capable he was, he should take care. Chen responded that his injuries weren't severe. He was just exhausted and would be fine after a good sleep. He said he should handle the tribe matters first. Lisa put her leg on his stomach and slowly moved it downwards. She said all right, she would inform Sam, but reminded Chen that he was the king of the tribe and didn't have to do everything himself. Most importantly, she didn't want to lose her man. At that moment, Lisa furiously stepped on his sensitive area, causing Chen to tensely ask her to move away. Lisa removed her leg and told Chen to get some rest. Chen was stunned by the scene and realized that Lisa was becoming more and more dominating. After leaving the house, Lang Guchui asked about Chen's health. Lisa responded that Chen was healthy but needed some rest, so she didn't let anyone disturb him. After that, Chen opened his system screen and was happy to see that even after losing 4 attribute points, he had gained 10 attribute points. For him, the trip was worth it. However, having high strength and low agility wasn't useful in critical moments, so high agility was very important for survival. Chen increased his agility first, and the system showed that his agility increased to 5 points, reaching a threshold. To increase it further, it required double the attribute points. Chen then wondered if spending double the attribute points to increase agility to 10 would hit another threshold, causing the required points to double again, and then quadruple, and so on. This meant getting 22 points in agility wouldn't be very easy. Chen then wondered if there was a threshold for everything. To check this, he decided to maximize each attribute to its threshold first. Chen increased his stone attribute and he felt an intense sensation, as if his body was going to burst. His shoes and pants tore because his size was getting bigger. He noticed that only 2 attributes were left to max out to their threshold levels. Tiredly, Chen lay on the bed and thought that he should add his next attribute points to stamina, raising it to its threshold level. Then Chen went to sleep. The scene then shifted to some time later, where everything was running smoothly in the newbie territory. Lisa was teaching everyone how to use a slingshot. She even did a trial run, hitting 6 targets, grazing 1, and missing 1. Out of nowhere, Chen arrived and praised everyone for their progress despite it being their first attempt. Seeing him, Lisa furiously asked what he was doing there since she had told him to rest. Chen responded that he was fit and fine, but Lisa noticed his new pants and thought he had been with another girl and was about to punish him. Chen quickly explained that it was just his increased power causing his clothes not to fit anymore, pleading with her to let it go. Lisa then told Chen that the Slingers team had formed, but it would take some time for them to become experts. Chen asked how Huang Shu and Ah Yun were doing, and if they had recovered from their injuries. Lisa shared that Huang Shu didn't want to stay at rest and be a burden to the tribe, so he went to the south post to guard the beacon. She also asked Ah Yun to bring food and water to Huang Shu, so there was no need to worry about him. Lisa also mentioned that she was more concerned about Ah Yun because her injuries were less severe, but perhaps because she had scolded Ah Yun earlier, Ah Yun was in a bad mood. Chen said to Lisa that Ah Yun cares a lot about her and silently bears everything for her, so Lisa should treat Ah Yun better. Chen then shared that he was going to rest again because in a few days, he needed to go north and harvest those precious millet plants. During that time, he would also continue inventing. The scene then shifted after 4 days, where Chen had prepared a table of numbers from 1 to 9 and planned to teach them simple addition and subtraction later. Chen gained 20 attribute points for writing language and creating numbers. Then, his system showed that his technology points had reached 100, and a new technology shop had opened. This technology shop allowed Chen to exchange technology points for various useful tools and heritage plaques. Once items were exchanged, they couldn't be returned. The system displayed a comprehensive list of items and resources that Chen could exchange with his technology points. Excited by the array of choices, Chen carefully examined the options and decided to pick an item for the first time.